Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a while. I think it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, my upload schedule is not that great. Let's just say I've been playing other games. A certain series has definitely very much caught my attention. I think this has been back in my mind every time I play Genshin in a lot of areas. And I think a lot of people have the same sentiment with me, is that Genshin is way too easy. As like an RPG that's supposed to be like level gated numbers game, it's a really easy game when you get down to the numbers. For a lot of people, it'd be like, you just mash it a lot. For me, it's like, this game is just too easy because, well, the characters just make it a lot more easier. And I think that's normal. The more characters that you add, the more easier the game is going to become. For example, Nahida. Nahida is the prime example why this game is like dog piss easy. There's a lot of reasons you could say this game's easy. It's like, oh, the grinding's way too easy. And I have to say, you're lying to yourself. The grind is not easy. It's RNG. There's no such thing as easy in this game. Or you can say, well, Spiral Abyss in general is just really easy to do. There is a really big challenge in Spiral Abyss, and which, you know what? I have to agree. I think Spiral Abyss in a lot of areas is just really easy to do. Okay, look, I do think Abyss can be hard in some certain areas. I won't say much, but there's only hard times in Abyss when I swear to God, they HP gate the shit out of their bosses, or they do some stupid ass gimmick and it makes me pissed. I, for one, hate gimmicks. I hate gimmicks in Genshin a lot. Doing immunity phases and bosses is one of the worst things I've ever had the chance of ever going up against with Genshin bosses. That Ruined Serpent, I hate that thing with a passion. That we nuts shit. This thing, I hate it. I legit hate it. It's just a really badly designed boss. If difficulty is just to say, oh, we are gonna put immunity phases in our game, I should just be playing Destiny because they do it. And guess what? At least their bosses are a little bit fun. How do we fix this issue? Because I think Genshin can be a hard game when it wants to be. This is coming from my meta standpoint of the game, because I do make guides here and there, and I think the game is really fun when you actually take into consideration with the numbers game, because the numbers game is actually pretty fun to get into. It's not that hard. It's pretty easy. The more you get into it, the more you can see the faults with the game. And I guess that's a minus, I'd say. Well, look at me. I'm in complete utter pain every time a new character comes out and they're just mid. But I do want to get into that issue and how we can solve it. How Genshin could probably solve this. And I think it's the simplest thing. Just make better bosses. I don't think this is the hardest thing ever. Don't HP gate your shit. Don't make enemies have a million HP, because I don't think that's fun to literally wail on an enemy that just stands there. Nor does he go into an immunity phase where you just can't attack him. It's not fun. I don't know how you could do it, actually. The more I think about it, it's pretty hard to like really balance a game under these circumstances. Well, there's so many artifacts in the game that make you so strong, like Noblesse. Noblesse in general is just a really strong artifact set. The VV set is just genuinely a very strong Anemo set. And there's a lot of other strong sets that make your character what they are. The people who would ever build a DPS Zhong Li are out of their minds because they don't exist. I think it's also pretty hard to balance a game around like so many characters now. It's okay, look, we have a lot of characters now, and I'm going back to this line, but Nahida is the prime suspect for being the most broken character in the game. You can't deny it. If you deny it, you haven't used her. I legitimately think that you haven't used her. She is one of, if not the most broken character in the game, for a reason. She works in every team. She's in every top team. There isn't a flaw with her. I don't think there's like a real big issue with like Nahida that I could say like is the biggest problem with her. She doesn't have a flaw. I think she's the best character all around. You could give that title to like Farina, or I think even Raiden, or even Bennett. But like Bennett, I still do think Bennett in general is just the strongest character in the game, like fundamentally. But overall, Nahida just serves so much purposes now. It's also like a fact that Dendro in general is just really strong now. Dendro in general is just like the strongest element now. There's a lot of reasons why I would keep playing Genshin, and like one of the reasons was, oh, the combat was really fun. And there was also like a thing that they said back then. I don't know if I can pull it up. I'll try and find it, but there was a certain thing that they said, and I think that's what pissed me off so much. They said they are not in any development to try and improve the PvE experience at all. I think that's what they said, if I remember correctly. I will try and find it if I can. I'll pull it up. But what they said that day made me so pissed. I actually found it, by the way. The comment was, and Okay, here's what I quote, okay? From their own words, Genshin Impact developer Mohoyo has said it does not want to add further endgame content similar to Spiral Abyss because of the excessive anxiety it could create for players. I'm not gonna say anything on that. I want you to think about what they said, and you go ahead and think of what they said. Spiral Abyss is the only true endgame content for high adventure ranks. This game is cooked. Your game was fundamentally made under this system, and you're saying you're not actively trying to make it better? That's the difference between Genshin and Star Rail. Genshin is like the game that you play often here, and it's that open world game that everyone would look at and be like, oh, this is pretty cool to look at. Star Rail is for people who want a challenge, who want a game that just isn't bare bones a lot of the time after you do like most of the content. There isn't really much to do after you do everything else. There isn't a really good way to solve this issue unless you fundamentally remake the game. I genuinely enjoy this game. I really do. And I want the best for this game. Most of the time, I think this game is like horseshit sometimes, but I really do want the best for this game. And there's a lot of reasons why. Honestly, I want to hear you guys' thoughts because I think the game is like genuinely one of the easiest games I've ever played. But if you think the game's genuinely hard for you, I think what you can do, in my personal opinion, is just look at guides. Because if you build characters to a certain extent, you will be able to clear the game. It's possible. I think the only thing I can take out of this conversation is that I hate HP gate. I hate immunity phases. And I genuinely hate how they make the bosses in this game. Because sometimes their idea of difficulty is not being able to hit the boss. And that's what pisses me off. Just make a good boss. It's not that hard. Make a fun boss. Make a challenging boss that doesn't require me to sit there for 3 minutes twiddling my thumbs and hopefully I can hit the boss in like 3 other minutes.